Okay, kids, welcome back to Money Sense at the opening bell. I'm Pat Riddell. It is a Wednesday morning. I don't know why it feels like Thursday to me. I think because I was out on Monday. That meant yesterday was Monday to me. So I'm about one. That should mean it feels like Tuesday to me, though. That doesn't work either. Either way, feels like Thursday. It's Wednesday, though. Actually, it's Tech News Wednesday, because we're going to bring you up to speed on all things technology, and we're going to do it right here, right now. We're going to do it with our good buddy Jason Taylor from Code Authority. Code Authority is based in Frisco. Jason's been developing software since he was, for 18 years. That began when he was 13 years old. I couldn't even spell technology when I was 13 years old. His company, Code Authority, builds databases, web apps, smartphone apps, pretty much everything that requires programming. We wanted to have Jason on. In fact, we're going to have Jason on again, because Jason's going to bring us up to speed on exactly what's going on out there in the world of software. And he may have something that you can use if you're a growing small or mid-sized business. Then you want to get in touch with Jason. Even if you're going to go through a little startup venture, entrepreneurial, you're an entrepreneur, you need to get involved with all these software things. You will be left behind. Good morning, Jason.
Good morning, Pat. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Glad to have you on. Let's start. This news is a little old. It's a week or so old on the Microsoft issue, but they did, in fact, announce that they had their own new tablet a week ago. They're going to call it the Surface. Tell us what's going on initially in the marketplace revolving around the Surface by Microsoft.
Well, the Surface is interesting because at this point in time, Microsoft has zero market share in that very hot sector. Right now, it's mostly dominated by Apple at about 65%, Google tablets at about 35%. But Microsoft has a couple of angles on those guys that they could really leverage to make this successful. One of them is the fact that their platform is going to be very Microsoft Office Suite friendly. And the Microsoft Office Suite is very widely ubiquitously adopted by business everywhere. And in the past, the Office Suite runs pretty nicely on Apple because Microsoft chooses to, but they could also choose to cut that spigot off. And the other angle they have is the fact that their tablet is going to connect into the Microsoft Xbox Live content portal. Now, for those of you that have kids that play Xbox, or maybe you're like me and you're 40 years old and you like to play Xbox, the Microsoft Xbox Live portal is the most successful of the online game delivery and content delivery platforms. There are third parties fighting to get on there, like Netflix delivers movies through there, and other even movies are on there now. A lot of the games are actually delivered through that portal and not bought at stores. And then, so if they can just master the hardware part and the user interface part and make it as awesome as Apple, and that's a challenge, then they have a good angle.
Let me, I noticed this morning, in fact, in USA Today, that Google now has a new tablet coming. Do we know anything about that yet?
Well, no, they're going to announce it today, it looks like. It's kind of a pre-rumor deal. Their developer conference is going on this week, and they're probably going to showcase why you shouldn't need to worry about the Surface, and how they're going to gain more market share on Apple, 65%. So we'll kind of wait till probably later in the day to get more information about that one.
Facebook has been, as we all know, Facebook, the late, great Facebook, as it relates to their IPO. But they have been taking a beating in the news since that IPO came out here a few weeks back. But it really has taken a little bit of the focus off of some of the neat things that Facebook actually does. And they now have this new feature that they're trying to work into their platform. They're calling it Find Friends Nearby. Tell me about it.
Well, it's something that they acquired from a specific app called Glancy. Glancy is an app that was a geographical social discovery app. So it used your GPS and your phone, and it let you set up a network where you could kind of visually see where your friends were and get a quick flag on what they were doing. So imagine it, I kind of think of it as like Pancho's Mexican buffet for social activity. So you're out after work on a Friday with your friends at 5:30, you can raise your flag, and then your friends that might be just around the corner, who would otherwise never know or never have any interaction with you that day, might say, hey, my buddy's right around the corner. And you can actually physically connect up because you knew you were geographically close to each other. It also can connect people that just want to meet each other. So there's all kinds of dating implications. They acquired Glancy in May, took all their employees on. Over the last weekend, they actually had an unannounced beta up that the geek community discovered and played with over the weekends, and then they took it down by Monday. So clearly they are going to put some kind of native feature and then start trying to get people to use it and play with it probably late summer or this fall.
What do you think that Facebook is going to do to try to solve their revenue problem from advertising? It seems that that's a big question. I know that's not really your arena, but you must have thought about that, just being a businessman running a company, that kind of thing. There's much not criticism, but the questions continue to arise as to how are they going to turn all that advertising into revenue. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I do, and I have to think about that all the time with a lot of the different companies that we work for. Everybody has to monetize their business idea at some point, and Facebook's no different. I would expect they're going to have to start sacrificing some of the natural way that the application lets you connect with people by letting companies buy in more and more and just pay for exposure. It's as simple as that. Businesses of all types, sizes, and different areas, if they could pay to be exposed to millions of people, just like the way Google monetized itself with its pay-per-click campaigns. So I would expect them to move into something very similar to pay-per-impression campaigns, where there's a lot more advertising subtle in your Facebook experience. That's pretty much their only way to do it.
Your company, Code Authority, you have an annual business incubation program, and it's an annual program, but the deadline is drawing near. Tell us about your incubation program. It's really exciting.
Yes, it really is. It's an annual thing. What we do is we accept people with app ideas to apply for selection during the first 2 quarters of each year, and then July 1 is the last day we accept applications. The third and fourth quarter, we actually provide the individuals that we select and the groups that we select some really valuable free services. First, we give them a design boot camp, which for 2 days we give them some software design experts that architect their application, create the user experience design, and a lot of valuable documentation. Following that, we give them some services to build a proof of concept or a prototype or some kind of hosted visual mock-up. And then the third element is that we will help them go in front of venture capital funding or angel investment funding. So what it really is a way for smart business people who have expertise in their field, who also have an idea about an application that could be built that would fill a need, to take their idea from just an idea to funding. And then once it goes from funding, obviously there's a lot more work, business plans. So we're looking for people with strong business background and good ideas. And they can apply online between today and the end of the day, July 1st.
And they would apply at codeauthority.com?
Yep, you just codeauthority.com and then click incubation. We include a mutual NDA there to protect their idea, and we start our committee selection process probably the second week of July, and hope to have our winners up to 3 selected by the July 31st, so we can get busy.
Outstanding. We can't have a tech guy on and not talk about Apple. They seem to almost be in the background these days, although they continue to be the elephant in the room, or the gorilla in the room in this case. They made some announcements at their Worldwide Developer Conference in the past few days. So tell us what's new coming up for Apple.
Well, it was their flagship operating system next version announcement. So iOS 6, one of the ways Apple is really good and has been beating their competition for years is that when they release a new operating system, it runs on all their devices. So even not the brand newest iPhone will be able to get iOS 6. It should be, you'll even run on your older tablets, and that's kind of contrary to some of the other big tech companies in their approach. They'll kind of leave some of their users behind sometimes. There was some hope that Siri would be on the iPhone 4 or iPad 2. That feature will not be, although the whole operating system will. And because of Google's and Apple's battle, they have had to figure out a way to get off dependency on Google Maps as a platform behind all their GPS and mapping-based features. And they made a deal with TomTom, third-party GPS and spatialization data provider, and that is going to rapidly be part of iOS 6, it looks like. They also showed off some really neat new laptops, the most powerful of which is about $2,000. Their equipment, especially their computers, their desktops and laptops have always been on the more expensive side, but they have very dedicated, loyal user base, and there will be a lot of excitement about those laptops when they hit the market, and it should just be a few weeks. The first ones are available.
Jason, re-highlight for us quickly your incubation program and how to reach you at Code Authority.
Well, you can find us at codeauthority.com. That's pretty simple, codeauthority.com. We've been in business for 11 years here in Frisco, Texas. We build applications for all different sizes of companies, especially small and mid-sized growing companies that need to automate. We build smartphone apps, cloud-based web applications, databases of all sizes. And our incubation program is open to anyone. You can fill out a form online to tell us all about your idea and get a 1-year mutual NDA protection. And we will then go through a process where we choose the best ones and try to get it built for you. And we can hopefully create some business, create some new employment growth in our community, and also get to work on some exciting projects that our developers like to work on. They like to work on the leading edge type of technology.
That's Jason Taylor from Code Authority in Frisco, Texas. If you need help with your custom databases, web apps, smartphone apps, if I can speak English, if it has to do with programming, call Code Authority in Frisco, Texas. Thanks, Jason. I appreciate your time.
You're welcome, Pat. Thank you very much.
You bet. We have to take a break. You're on Money Sense at the opening bell. We'll be right back.